Sports talk conversations with a good laugh mixed in. This is the Sports Talk with Thetford and Ashby podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
I'm Mike Hebert, owner of Cantex Roofing and Construction. Every day is game day, and we'll get it right when it comes to your roofing, construction, windows, and mirrors. Call Cantex Roofing and Construction today. Together, we are one serving you.
All-American Eatery out on the Tahoka Highway, about 85th or 6th Street, somewhere in there, on the east side of the street. If you
May be closed today. I'm not sure.
Is that right?
They weren't there at 8 o'clock this morning.
Oh, for the holidays?
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Celebrating July the 5th.
Well, just wait. They'll be open again.
Yeah.
And
they may be open.
They may be.
Here, I'll call again.
45, no, that's the Tide right. Go to Tide and then go out to 98th, and then you turn left. But you'll love it. Love the food. They got homemade chips out there, y'all. I love those homemade chips. I love just everything I order out there. Of course, normally I order.
And we're big steak finger guys, too. And they have flat got them.
It's the Bam Morris. Hey, Ray Hayward's on the phone with us from Oklahoma. You've been in Oklahoma for the 4th of July, Ray. Is that what you've been doing?
Well, no. Actually, we came up here, and I had a thing I had to go to in Dallas on Thursday. And so now I got to go back on Monday. And so we thought this would be a quick trip up here. Wouldn't have to drive 5.5 hours back to Lubbock. Just come up 2.5 hours up here. Made a little bit shorter. Got to visit the family.
Okay, I'm assuming that's a health-related deal in Dallas. How is your health?
It's okay. I mean, I'm this thing I've got is a little different than a knee surgery, and I just assumed that's what it's going to be. And a little while later, everything be fine. But I'm fine. I got things to deal with, but everything's good.
You're a walking miracle, Coach. I'll tell you that.
Yes, you are.
I'm telling you, we're so glad you're here.
Well, we wanted to clear that up when David said you were in Oklahoma, that folks didn't think you got an NIL deal at the University of Oklahoma.
And you were leaving,
and
too.
that's where you are now. So, anyway.
No, it's just we had a little chance to visit the family, so we came up here to do it. So.
All right, tell us again where the family is.
My daughter lives in Oklahoma City. We've got 2 granddaughters, and then my sister lives up there as well, and then my folks live up about 25 miles straight west of Stillwater, out in the country, and so we're out here, kind of in the middle of nowhere.
Reception's good.
Right now.
Glad you got service.
Good. Yeah, because we were worried about that yesterday, Coach, but it's excellent. We can hear you great.
You're good. It kind of comes and goes. I mean, it sometimes, it's perfect down. We're kind of down in a bottom area closer to a creek, kind of a low area. And sometimes it's great. And sometimes it's, I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's the clouds or the what have you, but it makes it hard for that signal to get in there. So
if he gets tired of being on, he can just go, I can't hear you guys. Can y'all hear me?
There you go.
I can't hear you.
Yeah.
We get that all the time, Coach, so just whatever you need to do.
Well, there's 2 reasons we want to have you on. One of them is that you're one of our favorite humans on this earth, and the other is it seems like we got more outflow than inflow on our team, and I know we've got to have some inflow, but like we just had TJ
Pompey
going to Arkansas, I guess, and just make us feel good about that there are players coming in, that we're going to field a squad this year.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we Tim and them, J-Bob, we got a lot of guys coming in, and guys that they're real happy with. I mean, they're pitching-wise and everything. So, and they still got guys. They're bringing in guys right now on trips and recruiting trips and things, looking for guys out of the portal, and I think they're pretty excited. I mean, from what I know, and I'm not as into the recruiting thing, obviously, since I'm not one of those coaches that can go out and recruit. But from what they're talking about and what we talk about in the meetings and stuff, they're pretty excited about who they got coming in, and then but they're definitely going to have a team. They'll have a pretty good team whenever. we get started.
We're not going to have a whole bunch of extra uniforms, are we?
No, we're not going to go out there and see a bunch of guys that we got off of, just off the street somewhere. So
now, what's the number? Isn't it 34 that you can only have 34 come in?
Oh yeah, it's 34, and 34 on the roster. You can still bring in guys. In the fall, a few more in the fall, and so try them out, or a lot of times you just need extra guys in the fall for scrimmaging and things like that, and get a look at them, give them an opportunity, and to maybe make the team, and then go from there. So they always bring in more guys, but the final roster will be 34.
Okay.
All right, so that makes us feel better, Coach. It really does.
Yeah. Tim, those guys, they've been working hard like crazy, and they're on the phones and they're recruiting. And J. Bob, I don't think's been home, if any, hardly any since the season's been over. And of course, he's a workhorse. He's going 24/7 on the phone, talking to people, and he's very good at that, as we know. And so, yeah, I mean, it's going, and I think they're pretty excited about what's coming in, and everyone else should be too.
Well, it just seems like we're keeping it sort of a secret. Is that by design? Because we don't hear much about it.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what that is for, to be honest with you. I don't know why I hadn't been out there. I know all I see is guys are going in the portal, but they signed and committed a bunch of guys last year, like they do every year in the fall, the summer from last year. The guys are coming in, and I don't know if they haven't released that. I don't know what the deal is there, but no, they've got plenty of guys, and I know we've got a number of junior college pitchers coming in. I've talked with the scouts that said that they're going to help us a bunch. So that's going to be really good.
Well, tell us about Steve Foster, and our new pitching coach is coming in here. Do you have some experience with him?
Not too much, about 25, 30 years.
Well, we'll get somebody else then that knows a little
yeah. No, I tell you what, when Tim and I was talking about it, the pitching thing and everything, and I said, Tim, you got to go out and get somebody really good that's got a lot of experience, that's got a lot of, got the energy and can really get after it. And he brought up Steve, and I thought, when he brought up Steve, I kind of thought, I don't know if he'll, not that he couldn't do it, just the fact that I don't know if he'll come.
Yeah.
He's so ingrained in the pro stuff, and he's so well respected and everything. I just, I didn't think he'd come. And then when he said he's going to come on a visit and he's going to go out, I said, you can't get anybody better. I mean, it's just, he's one of these guys that, he's number one, he's a wonderful human being. He's a strong Christian guy, and he's just so knowledgeable on everything. And he's been up on everything from, he's an old school guy like me, but yet being a coordinator of a program and in the pros and minor leagues, he's got to keep up on all the updated pitching stuff and all the analytic stuff. And so he's into that. He's got about everything you want as a pitching coach right now. And he's a full package. He's got experience. He's a great guy. He can really communicate. He can really talk, as you guys will find out, man. And it's going to be a really good thing for Texas Tech baseball.
Well, I think when you heard him say he would come on a visit, then you sort of perk up and go, I think we're going to get him. Because if somebody will come to Tech on a visit, they're going to like it.
Yeah. When Tim said that, and we were with Tim when we were having lunch, all of us, when Steve called and said he's going to do it, and everybody's pretty excited about it. So
that's good.
It's going to be a really good thing. He's a wonderful man, and it's going to be good for the baseball program.
And where did y'all's paths cross in pro ball?
Well, when I was with the Marlins, he was a pitching coach at the Marlins when I was there, but even before that, he's just the baseball. He's from Frisco. He's just kind of been around baseball. He's one of the guys, that everybody knows. He's good friends with, I know Skip Johnson there at OU, and then you go as far as the old coaches of, my boss, Stan Meek, and guys in the pro range, we're just kind of a group, you know what I mean? he's been involved. Like I said, he's just a baseball guy, and of course, in the Marlins part, we all knew him through there, and then it's just kind of escalated from that. I've known him ever since. We've texted. He texts me all the time through the last couple, 2 or 3 years since I've been through this deal, and we've talked on the phone a number of times. And so he's pretty good man, and I have a lot of respect for him and really admire him.
They used to, it's almost like a fraternity, the pro coaches, but it used to be they were all drinking buddies. Now it doesn't seem like there's so much drinking as there is just the fraternity still goes on without it.
Fraternity, yeah, it is. I think it's just, I think people are kind of realizing that people kind of looking at their health now. I mean, especially as they get older, and all this health stuff that's out here now. And I think not only the players are getting better at that, but I think the coaches and the administration, everybody else is kind of following suit. And there's still in pro ball, there's those guys that sit around and when I was playing, the same thing as you, Gabe, they had kegs in the locker room, and after a game, guys would sit down and not just sit there and get drunk, but just have a beer and talk baseball,
Yeah.
And now they don't do that anymore. They can't do that. And so now when the game's over, everybody splits, everybody's gone and goes their own way. And in a way, I think that's hurt, because used to we sit around and talk baseball,
yeah,
and stories and just how to do things, just baseball itself. And I think baseball is better for it that way. So.
I think so too. Not necessarily the drinking part, but just the socializing after a game and unwinding together and all. Now I guess they just go home and count their money. I mean,
yeah, count their money. Yeah, I guess that's what it is. But they're I think for the most part, guys like to go out and do things and all that stuff. But I think as far as the amount of drinking and stuff now, I think it's less, because I think more people are seeing that they can make more money if they're in good shape and they can be able to get out there every day and perform. And I think that's really gotten into pro ball as well as college.
David and I have sat with Josh Young the last 3 years at the first pitch luncheon, and that's the one thing I came away with is, these guys are health nuts. I mean, and our bunch was not. I mean, in fact, we were probably just the opposite of health nuts. So, but you're exactly right. That's a different world that we're living in now, and it's probably a better world, at least as far as health.
Yeah, as far as the health-wise and stuff. But, you get guys, Gary, guys like John Kruk and those guys like that were butterballs and go out and hit 350 in the minor league, 300 in the big leagues, and they're out every night. I roomed with John, and he was a great roommate because I never saw him.
Yeah, I had the room by yourself, didn't you?
Well, yeah, I had the whole apartment to myself, because he'd go, after the game, he was out, and then he'd get in about 4, and then he'd sleep till 3, and I'd get up and do all my stuff and be gone at the ballpark. And he'd go buy Whataburger, get him a couple of hamburgers, shake, and come to the ballpark, take BP, go 3 for 4, and go back out again.
John Kruk was your roommate.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That is great. We didn't know that.
Oh, yeah. He's a wonderful roommate. It was like having my own apartment. So,
well,
but John he was a good guy. He was a really good friend, a good guy. Treated everybody good. He just had his own way of doing things.
Yeah.
A story I like to tell, I was done playing ball, and I went out there just to hang with the guys, and we went out, and it was Tim Flannery, who's a friend of mine, and Bob Horner goes with us. They were playing, I guess, at the Braves at the time, and we go out, and I remember going back there and said, how in the world is he going to play tomorrow after this? And you know what? He didn't.
Oh, really?
He didn't play the next day. So I thought, well, it's a different world.
Yeah.
It's different. So, but they, if you look at those guys on TV now, golly, those guys are, they're cut. They're strong, and they're just different. They know if they do that, they can make more money. And when money comes into it, sometimes they'll do what it takes. So,
well, they're like way strong nowadays. I was watching Sports Center last night to get caught up on Joey Chestnut's hot dog deal, and and they had a little deal on all the home runs that were hit yesterday. And these aren't hitting the top of the fence and bouncing over. These guys are like way strong.
Oh, not only, but
and big.
They're stronger. They're quicker. They're, like I said, it's that, and that's one of the reasons why we have so many injuries in the pitching part of it, because with the Tommy John and all that. Because I know Meister, Dr. Meister down in Dallas, I've talked to him numerous times. I know when I took Gingrey down there and we talked about his arm, and I said, Doc, why we have so many of this, these things? When I was playing, you might have one guy or something. He said his exact words was, well, it's like what's happening is we're getting so strong, it's like putting a 454 engine in a Volkswagen. It'll work if it's so fast, but when you really put the metal to the floor, something's gonna give, because it's not made for a 454, and that's kind of what we're doing with the pitcher. That was his analogy to me, and I went, that makes perfect sense, So,
hey, Coach, you'll enjoy this. I was watching SportsCenter last night. Gary might have seen it too. The Cardinals and the Cubs have been playing, and this Michael Bush hit 3 home runs in the game for them to win. 3 times that's happened when the Cardinals were playing. The Cubs were playing the Cardinals. The Cubs won the ball game. That they had a player hit 3 home runs in a game. Moses Alou in 2003, Hank Lieber in 1939. All of them happened on July the 4th.
No kidding.
All 3.
Peculiar.
Yeah, it's really peculiar.
Hey, Coach, are you tired of us yet? Will you hang around another segment with us?
Yeah, I can do that.
We love having you.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you.
You can?
He can. Ray Hayward.
I can.
No, he can't. We want you to say you want to.
I'll suck it up for another segment.
All right. We'll be right back with Ray Hayward and more sports talk.
Sports talk conversations with a good laugh mixed in. This is the Sports Talk with Thetford and Ashby podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
NW Services, Lenco Distributors, Midland, Texas. Brent Beck, Scott Blakely. They are Texas Tech Red Raiders. And in fact, Brent's son played baseball at Texas Tech.
Yes, sir.
Was a good little baseball player at Texas Tech, and they will help you in the oil and gas business.
Was that before Ray?
I don't know whether Ray was there.
Well, there's one before and one when I was.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. But, boy, what a company they have. If it's oil and gas related, they can help you. I just know they can. They got more businesses out of this one business that could just help everybody in the oil and gas business. So put them on your team. All right, Ray Hayward is here. He is the special assistant. That's what you are, Ray. Did you know that?
I don't know how special, but I'm there.
You're there. Special assistant. 13th season on the staff at Texas Tech. Did you know that, Gary?
I knew it'd been a while. And how many years were you the pitching coach? 5 or 6, 7?
5.
5. Well, those were big time staffs that we had while you were there.
Yeah, it was fun. It was fun. So. And
I thought that they might hire you back, but I got to thinking, your health's not ideal, your age is not ideal. But
you're far from ideal.
But you're ideal. So I thought they might hire you back. But I think
I'll be out. Yes, you're exactly right. It's tough. This transplant stuff's tougher than what I thought it was going to be.
Well, I know, but you had like 6 or 8 parts put in, didn't you?
Yeah.
I mean, you're like a complete overhaul.
Yeah. Now, what's crazy is now they're starting to take stuff out. So I don't know.
We shouldn't have put that in there. You don't need that.
Oh, we might want to take that back out, or maybe take part of it out.
All right,
no,
it's tell us again what all transplants did you have, and where are you right now? Because you're a fascinating case.
Well, I went in. I had a mitral valve that was not working properly, and it was just a deal. You go in and fix. I mean, it's like a 2-hour surgery. Not a big deal. Routine, they call it. I said, don't ever say routine again.
No.
And it went in, and they fixed it in a couple hours, and then all of a sudden it just the heart started going crazy. Yes, what they call that, AFib. And then I started bleeding out, and they had leaks on my anyway. It went crazy, and so I ended up before I got on the ECMO machine for quite a while. I don't know, 6 weeks or so, and they decided I needed a new heart, and because the machine and all the way it works, it put a lot of stress on the kidneys. So my kidneys were going down, so I had to get a new kidney too. And so anyway, so I had ended up having a heart and kidney transplant. I'm very, very lucky, because I say lucky. I had to get on the list. Of course, that took a while and get strong enough to get on that. And then I got on the list, and then fortunately, not too long after that, they had a donor right there in that hospital that passed away. That was a young kid, 20, 21 years old.
Oh.
Same size, same blood type, everything was just perfect. Like, good Lord made it available. And anyway, I got them both right then, and they had to they put them in one night. It was supposed to be a like a 6-hour, 7-hour surgery, and I ended up being a 15 or 16 hour. They had complications. My aorta fell apart, so they had to bring in a guy and rebuild the aorta. Got it rebuilt, and then they got me out of there and had to wake me up before they give me a kidney, because they want to make sure they have to, I don't know, really get you real cold, your brain real cold. I don't know if they freeze or what have you, but they got to bring me back out of that to make sure I wasn't messed up that way, which I think I am a little bit. But anyway, they got me out of that and made sure, so I could get the kidney. So I ended up getting the kidney, and then being on I've had some other issues with being on that ECMO machine so long. I've had a little bit of a spinal stroke, which just hurt my use of my legs a little bit. So and then I had to deal with they cut the nerve that goes to my left vocal cord and paralyzed it. So I'm working with that. It's going back and forth. That's kind of one of the issues I have now, and just kind of one of those things that, I'm blessed I'm here, but like they told me at the hospital, it's going to be a new normal, and I'm going to have to deal with things. And so I deal with a lot of things I can deal with and handle, but probably not something that they're wanting to have a full-time pitching coach doing. So I understood what they're doing, and again, I thought they've made a great choice with Steve Foster. So it's worked out good.
Yeah, there were times, Coach, where we tried to have you on it, and during those times you couldn't talk because of your vocal.
Yeah.
You said, I can't talk loud enough.
Yeah, it goes, it's been fairly good. Last time they went in and actually took some belly fat, which I've got a little bit of that, and put it in my throat to move that over. They talk like it's simple, but so I just go with it, and they say it's going to should last for three years now, but I'm starting to have a little problem with it now. So it's it is what it is, and when we have a problem, we just go to Dallas and try to get it fixed, or get it just get a rig for a while anyway. Just rig it.
Yeah,
kind of like farmers do with baling wire and duct tape.
Yeah, that's how you work it.
Just keep me going for a little longer, but it's not bad. I mean, I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm fortunate and blessed to be here, and I'm happy to be here. So,
well, if you get short on belly fat, I'll be your donor.
Yeah.
Well, I'm definitely not short on that, because especially here lately, I can't do as much as I used to do, so I'm gaining a little bit. So, one of those things, part of it.
Yeah, you're tough beyond words, my friend.
Oh, yeah,
you really are.
I just enjoy my grandkids, enjoy doing stuff, and that's the big part right now.
Yeah,
and probably appreciate everything. Not that you didn't before, but probably even more so now.
No, you do. I see people that get so frustrated about certain things, and I look at them going, I understand, but I'm thinking that they just need more. It don't even bother me. It's like, hey, it's part of it, and you move on. And in life, you got things that happen to you. You just deal with them and move on and keep going.
There you go. There you go. What'd you think about Josh Young being optioned down to Round Rock AAA ball club?
That happens. There's guys, you get in and out, you get in funks. And I think, and I've talked to a couple guys up there about the whole situation. I really think, and Josh is probably the one guy that would be this way. There's so much information out there now on, everything, the analytics part of it, the launch angle, the this, that, how to do this and that. And they've got these guys thinking so much about all this stuff. And there's so much information that I think sometimes they get so overloaded, they're thinking so much about that rather than just go up to the plate, see the ball, and hit it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think and Josh has always been one of those guys that really has taken to all that stuff and really taken it to heart. And I think it's helped him, but I think sometimes they get so overloaded with that stuff, they forget, hey, I'm just going to go up there and hit. Don't worry about whether my hands are right or I'm getting the right angle of the bat and everything. And that's my opinion. It could be totally wrong, but I see it a lot here at Tech, and I know it happens in pro ball same way.
Well, I'm assuming pitching's the same way, that there's just so much mental to it that sometimes just a break, just take a break and go down there and relax, and if you can, and I think Josh he seems so mature when it comes to baseball and the way to go back, that this is a timeout. Use it, and it may take a week. Hitting is. There's times you'll go up there and everything you see is as big as a volleyball. Then there's times that, crap, did he even throw a ball? I didn't even see it.
I'll give you a perfect example. When I was in San Diego, we had a guy who did the same thing. Big leagues. I don't even know what it was for, but he came down for a while, hit about 460, and then went back up. And a guy named Tony Gwynn.
Oh, wow.
Tony ended up doing the same thing, and I think Kevin McReynolds did it. I think there's a number of guys. I remember when I was in AAA with San Diego, that guys, would come down for stretches like that. They needed to adjust, get a little break, recalibrate, so to speak, and that's what it took, is just a little bit of break like that, and they don't have to worry about their batting average. They don't have to worry about it. They just go up there and get used to getting back, getting the swing of things. And so those guys are pretty good guys. They end up going back and have pretty good careers. So
I was about to say, it'd be a good story for Josh to hear that Tony Gwynn was probably one of the top 3 or 4 hitters of all time
in the history of the game,
as far as just hitters. Went back down to AAA and came back up and had that kind of career.
Yeah. Thing. Yeah.
Josh, all Red Raider fans know he's talked to his bat. You remember those days?
Oh, yeah.
So he's got some, he's really focused. He really is. And he wants to be the best he can be. He is absolutely an outstanding young man. We're so proud of him. But it's, it's kind of like golf a little bit. If you watch golfers, when they they take a practice swing when they're going to drive, and boy, it looks good. And then they get over the ball and everything changes. I mean, they're thinking too much. Just get up there and hit the ball and see what happens.
And I think that's what, and you talk about Josh. Josh is the guy that, that the analytics part of it, I think he really took to it and it helped him a little bit. And I think sometimes now but Jace, his brother, is just the opposite.
Yeah.
Jace says, hey, just give me a bat, let me hit.
Let me hit.
And I think he's struggling now because they're talking so much about analytics to him that they're trying to do this. He's got so much in his mind too now, because he's thinking, God, I just want to go up and hit. And they say, you got to do this, you got to do this, we got to do this, we got to make this change. And he's trying to do it, but I think he's just the same way. He's doing stuff he's not used to doing, and it's giving him problems, and he's struggling a little bit.
Well, and I remember Josh talking to his bat. It used to irritate me because I'm a get in there and hit guy.
Yeah.
But I'm wondering now, because he's always hitting good, that he's talking to his bat. Now I'm wondering if he's like cussing his bat. Say, hey, what the hell here? Let's go.
His bat's revolting.
You're better than this.
Well, I imagine he probably used to sleep with him. Now he's at him thinking bathtub or something.
Yeah.
You know,
Locked them out in the backyard.
Yeah, that's probably what he's done now. He's hung them up or something. I don't know, but he'll be fine. He's just, like I said, these guys go through stuff, especially young when they're just starting off their career. They're going to go through things. They're learning stuff, and he's learning here probably how to go through adversity, and so he's going to be fine. He is what he is. He's a great ball player. He works hard at it. He's going to be successful. So it's just.
You talk to him, Coach? Do you talk to him every now and then?
I haven't. I do every now and then, but I haven't lately because I know there's 9 million people that's calling him and giving him advice, and so I haven't.
Yeah,
I've talked to Jace. I've talked to Jace a few times and kind of seeing where he's at. But Josh is. I know Josh. There's so many people care about him, want to help him, and he's got so many people right now just all over him. I know that through Jace. So it just I've kind of left him alone, and if he wants to give me a call, he can, and I may call him here before too long and talk with him. But he's like I said, Josh knows what's going on. He just needs a break a little bit, get back in the swing of things. He'll be fine. He'll be back up.
Well, that Tony Gwynn story that's a great story.
He needs to hear that story, Coach.
Yeah.
He does. Yeah. And he needs to hear your voice. You're the voice of reason and calm. I mean, I feel better just talking to you today.
Yeah.
Well, he's like I said, he's a wonderful young man, and somebody like you guys, you can't find anybody better. So he's going to be fine. I'm not concerned about him a bit. So.
All right. Well, back to you, Coach. We know you're coming back this year. Do you have plans for retirement, or you got another 5 or 10 years in you?
You know, I don't. That's one of those things. With this deal I have, you never know what's going to pop up. You know, You don't know what's going to happen. You know, I've always said I never have stress. I don't know what stress is. I don't, and I know everyone has it. I know I have. People just deal with it differently, but I've always I can feel stress now. I understand it, and you know my heart team that I stay in contact with. When I start having problems, you know, I'll give them a call and say, hey, I just let you know what's because they want me to, obviously, and they'll just say, you know, hey, you need to take some time. You need to step away, say, because what's going to get you more than anything is stress.
Okay.
And so I've probably been a little stressed out more lately. My sister's not doing real well. Actually, she had a major surgery. We flew to Atlanta, got that done, and she's come out of that okay. And she's back in Oklahoma City now, and she's recovering from that, and we're still concerned about her. And so there's some things that's going on in my life that I never always took it like it was not a big deal. But and now with this deal that I have, it kind of rears up a little bit and flares up and causes some issues. And so I'm kind of dealing with that now. But again, we'll just see how it goes. And as far as my ego and everything, yeah, heck, I need a coach till I'm about 80, you know. But sometimes
you love it.
Sometimes, yeah, I just love being around those kids and helping those kids and trying to make them better. But sometimes it kind of hits you in the face that might want to kind of move on. But I haven't felt that way yet, and but I don't know when I will. But
we need you, Coach. Texas Tech needs you. Our kids need you.
And we got to go right now, Coach, but we always appreciate your time.
We do.
We wish you nothing but the best.
Thank you, and I appreciate you guys, too, and I know everybody else does, too. So
thank you, Ray.
Appreciate you. Coach Ray Hayward.
Sports talk conversations with a good laugh mixed in. This is the Sports Talk with Thetford and Ashby podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
We were talking about Jerry Clower during the break. Dan had him over to the house. He came into Lubbock for a First Baptist deal. Well, Dan and Jerry Clower were not two guys to be together. They're both
not a lot of listening
in charge.
Yeah.
And it was pretty funny. Anyway, Tom Law is here. He's my brother-in-law, which is his main claim to fame. But
for you or for me?
Yeah, probably me.
Okay.
That's a good point, though, Tom.
Just asking. I don't have a radio show every Saturday with Gary Ashby, you know?
Yeah. Well, we're not too much of a plus for each other. In fact, we're
finding the tallest midget here. This is good.
Yeah, the tallest midget.
Big B.
Yeah, he's a midget. He doesn't even B, you're not a midget.
No, I think you have to be below 5 foot in order to qualify.
No. Let's learn something. What was it? 5 what?
5 foot.
I think you have to be below 5 foot to qualify, at least.
We always get in trouble when we talk about
I cannot imagine.
midgets and dwarfs. And
So we never do it. You bring your brother-in-law in, and here we go.
Jehovah's Witnesses is fine. Okay. Yeah.
Without a doubt.
All right.
we're
Go there.
Without a doubt.
talking
All right,
about
good.
midget,
Fine group. Fine
midget
group.
Jehovah's Witnesses. Okay, we're not making fun of them.
Oh,
We're
no.
not.
Seem like you are.
Oh, my.
Because we're laughing, but it's with them. We're laughing with them. All right, so Tom he was going to tell us a story, but I'm sure he can't remember it now. Did you tell the people back in Tennessee he lives in Tennessee now, and Brentwood, is that the name of the town?
Yep.
And it's by Nashville, because nobody knows.
So we're about 10 miles south of Nashville. It's Brentwood, Franklin's kind of what South Lake Grapevine, Colleyville is to Fort Worth. Same kind of concept.
Okay.
Built up community.
Can you tell when you leave one town to go to the next?
Not really.
Okay.
Not really. And then Franklin is very historic. It goes back to Civil War days. I mean, Brentwood Country Club has these brick walls going across the front of it that go back to the Civil War.
Oh, wow.
It's just all stuff. And there's one house where over 250 people died on that piece of land right there during the Civil War and stuff. So a ton of history, going through there. And there's all these historical homes that were hospitals or places where the soldiers stayed that are still up and people living in them today. But it's a beautiful part of the country, and so just really fun. But yeah, we've been out there since about 2007, and got up there
real quickly.
Yeah.
How does someone from Lubbock and Lamesa wind up in Brent?
Lot of different ways.
I mean,
a lot of different ways.
You can fly.
You can drive. You can take whatever you want to do. But when Dad sold the company back in
that.
Yeah. So when Dad sold the company back in the late 90s, we went with
Fields and Company is what he's talking about.
We went with Ferguson out to Dallas and went to South Lake for about 8 years and had a lot of fun out there. And my job changed dramatically between 05 and 06 when the housing industry went upside down, and we all became numbers overnight. And I was early 40s with a wife and 4 kids and trying to figure out what we're going to do. And for some reason everybody wants to eat every day. Go figure.
Yeah.
But that's it. But we were part of a church family that was based out of there, and we would go visit Tennessee, and every time we'd go the kids would say, "This is great, can we move?" And so things just kind of happened, and God closed doors and opened doors and helped us get there, and sold my house real quick, took my job away, and one of those deals was like, I guess this is our path. And so we ended up out there and haven't looked back. It's been a wonderful move for us, but we miss Texas every day.
That's good, kids, because most of the time kids go kicking and screaming,
right?
And yours are going, "Hey, I like it out here.
Yeah,
Let's go."
It was fun. So we've got up there and just pretty much raised them for most of their teenage years through out in the Middle Tennessee area. But it's been I'm in an office building, and the Ohio Valley Conference is right next door to me, their headquarters, and you're just kind of watching what they do, and you see it, and just see how small that office is and how it functions. You just realize how lucky, number one, we are as Tech to be in the Big 12. To have what we've got and the resources around us and the stuff that's in it. And so, obviously, I'm in the middle of SEC country. You gotta go a lot of places and ask the waiter and everybody else to put a Tech game on a TV up there. But we're getting
and then you get Georgia Tech.
Yeah, you get the wrong one. Yeah, Tennessee Tech. It's one of those other things and what happens. But we've would go to game watching parties, and then when COVID hit, everything just kind of stopped for a while.
Mm-hmm.
We just didn't see it. You couldn't gather up, couldn't do any things, and then about, a year and a half ago, Kurt Langford reached out to me, and, obviously we've been supporters, and Jim Douglas is obviously tied his Saddle Tramps hard as he was in that part as well. And then we've known Bill Dean forever, so we've always loved it. And Kurt and I grew up together. He was at Monterey when I was at Coronado, but we graduated the same year and ran in some of the same circles, had a lot of the same friends. And he did a short stint with the Saddle Tramps. He was in my pledge class for 2 weeks or something like that. But all he needed, he got good. But I remember him saying, one of my friends said, he said, I want to be, he loved, because one of the things we do as Tramps is we give campus tours.
Yeah.
So someone who's coming in, looking at coming to Tech, we'd sign up for different time slots, and you'd get this, these teenagers and their parents who were visiting that weekend, and you'd walk. We had a whole route around the campus where at one point I could tell you how many gallons of water were in the pool, how many bricks were in the Coliseum, and we had the different things in the psychology building up there. If you notice, it doesn't have any windows on the top floor. And we used to tell them that's where they take the freshmen who don't make their grades and bash their heads against the wall, stuff like that. So we had all kinds of good.
I don't even know where the psychology building is.
So it's right by that brand new English building that's so nice. It's over right across from.
I don't know where that is either.
Right there, close to Weymouth, across from Wall Hall.
Okay,
and
now you're
Chitwood over there. So
yeah, okay,
so
I got you.
On that main street. But anyway, so we did a lot of that. So anyway, our time in the Tramps was good. But Kurt and I just knew each other from way back, and he reached out to me about a year and a half ago and said, "Would you and your wife be interested in kind of heading up the Middle Tennessee chapter again? Because we've got 107 chapters across the country." And so
that's crazy.
Obviously, but the meat of it is here in Texas, and we said, yeah, we'll give it. I said, what? Do game watching parties? Invite people to go? Yeah, you're right. You're speaking my language.
So how many people attend Middle Tennessee?
We usually get. Well, here's what's crazy. He sent me a printed list, and Renee's just a rock star over there at his office, but she sends me the printed list. We've got 600 within 15 miles of where I live, y'all.
Oh, wow.
Texas Tech
Raiders?
Red Raiders. And that doesn't include wives and kids or spouses or whatever. That's just the. So we get in there, and all of a sudden I start reading through this list, and I'm recognizing names. And so we start sending emails out, and we've got our own Facebook page and stuff like this that we do, and we send them out and do game watching parties and just kind of see. Let's just see if someone shows. Our first time, I think we had 17. The next 2 weeks later, we did it again. We had about 35. And people walking into me, and the guy walks up and says, "I was friends with your brother Sam." I said, "Why'd you want to bring something like that up?"
Yeah,
I was liking
these are happy times.
These are happy times. And so, but I said, "Where are you from?" He goes, "Idalou." So here we are at Nashville, and then someone else goes, "I'm from Big Spring," and just all these, all of a sudden, these are my people.
Yeah,
we're going to get along just fine. There's a couple who drives down from Clarksville, which is an hour each way. And she was in the going band, and she doesn't miss a game. But like when the softball team was playing the other night, I think we had 32 people show up,
for the watch party.
For a watch party for that game 2 of the baseball tournament.
That is so fun.
It's just so we're, but with what's coming down the pipeline, we've already booked that first game. I think our first game is it Oregon? Is that the first one that's kind of a big?
Yeah, Oregon State.
A Fox game at 2:30 or something like that. So we've already got that scheduled to go. And so the hard part is there's different spots all throughout Middle Tennessee, and trying to figure out, okay, where do we want to host this thing? Do you do it one place or do whatever? So last fall we came down for the Arizona State game. Every 2 years, Kurt and his team the Athletics Alumni Association do a tremendous job of bringing everybody in. Let's share ideas. Here's what's going on. Here's some suggestions from other people, because there's no reason to reinvent the wheel, So we'll get in there, and we've got the group from Dallas and Tarrant County, one from Houston, San Antonio. I mean, Abilene's got a huge up and coming chapter right now. With the growth that city's having, it's just going to explode. Amarillo's got a good group, and so, but majority of them are in Texas. And so then once
Midland,
we get
Odessa got a group.
Midland's got a group.
They should have a. Yeah,
they've got a strong one, as does San Antonio and Rio Grande and all these other things. So and people have been doing it for years, and so they come in, they're sharing their ideas, they're talking about what they do for golf tournaments and game watching parties, and so we're just trying to, steal ideas and get stuff, because I don't have 10,000 alums in my city. I got 600, and so we're going to have to get a little more creative. But it's coming, and the excitement's there. And once people find out we're there, we're getting a better turnout every week. And so, but it's been fun to kind of do it and just kind of run into people, and all of a sudden, you're 4 connections away from everybody, and someone comes in and we start talking, and you say, well, so, and that, eventually we're going to find a common ground, outside. And so, but they're all there to pull for the Raiders, and everyone, it's funny because they all come in here and people know their trivia, they know all about Tech. I mean, these are guys who are fans, and it's not like I just went to Tech, so I thought I'd pop in. They're diehards.
Yeah, they're diehard. They didn't just leave here.
And they're coming because they want to be there, because they want to, and just have some like-minded people around them for a little while.
Texas Texan magazine.
There you go.
There's
yours truly.
There's Tom
in the
right
magazine.
He does health markets, which is Medicare, and he's really good at it. And
I showed that to Terry the other day, and I said, I for the life of me don't know why Tom is in the, what is that called?
It's Texas
Texan.
Yeah.
And now I know.
There you go.
Yeah.
Now I know.
And there's an article in the front here by Kurt Langford, and Tom's on the board of directors for the Alumni Association. Not just in.
Not on the board, but I'm the head of our
Advisory.
chapter. Yeah, head of our chapter is what I'm.
You sure you're not on the board?
I think if I did, I didn't get to vote on it.
I think we put you on there.
So,
Well, my niece Whitney and my sister-in-law Diane are active in the
Arizona.
Phoenix, Arizona.
right. They've got that's another good chapter.
Alumni Association.
Because it is these exterior. I mean, once you get out of Texas, the other states, there's a lot of alumni in Charlotte, in Raleigh, Durham. There's a lot of alumni in the Oklahoma area. There's some.
Is this
good
the only
branches.
group from Tech? Is this the only organization from Tech that really keeps people involved? Like Red Raider Club. You're part of the Red Raider Club.
Right.
They don't
Not to this level.
They have luncheons down there for the Red Raider Club.
Do that kind of stuff. So yeah, we wouldn't do that because that's the Red Raider Club geared more towards the athletic side of it.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Where the Alumni Association is geared towards any and all of it, but we're trying to pull them in for all types of reasons.
98 years is how the association is. 98.
Wow.
So in a couple of years, they're going to have some changes coming. And Kurt has written an article in the Texas Texan. If you want to read it, it's an excellent article. For years, since its inception, has been a separate entity from Texas Tech. I mean, it's not. I mean, it's associated with Texas Tech, but now it's coming underneath Tech. It'll be a part of the Texas Tech University system and be in that. And we're looking, for the positives that come from that and the things that'll help us take it to a whole new level. Tech's, their goal, I think, is 50,000 students here pretty quick.
Where are we now? We're over 40, right?
40-something,
Okay.
Low 40s.
Well, we were talking about that when I was just driving back and forth to La Mesa, and it says Lubbock, Texas, and the population is now 269 or something like that. I'm thinking, okay, because it was right at 200 when we moved in '99 when we went to Dallas. So we've seen a ton of growth, and it's.
Once you go over 200, stuff just starts popping
booming.
up. Businesses that won't come all of a sudden come.
And now we're going to be 300. I don't know what happens then.
I know I'm in the minority, but I'm fine where we're at.
I was fine where we
I'm
used
in no
to be.
interest in.
No.
I was fine when we were smaller.
Yeah,
but
that's just me.
Yeah.
Yeah. But like when we go to La Mesa this weekend, they don't. So much of that, us having that growth hurts those little towns like that. I mean, the Walmart's gone. And so
they don't have Walmart anymore.
And so they've got grocery stores and a few other retail places, but it's
well, now they feel they know how Mom and Pa Kettle felt when the Walmart came in.
Yeah.
Because Mom and Pa Kettle lost their business, so now Walmart lost their business.
Yeah.
So there.
On their side. So
Put that in your pipe and smoke it.
Yeah.
So.
Well, it's just what has happened with our Alumni Association. It used to be the Texas Tech Ex-Students Association, but is now the Alumni Association. We have had such great leadership for the first guys that did it. Bill Dean was there for so long, and you don't get any better than Bill Dean.
Nope.
You got Jim Douglas right there alongside. Now we got Kurt Langford. I think Kurt is just
taking it to another level.
He is really the guy.
He really is.
And then Chris Snead is there. Chris is a great Red Raider. We're really blessed with what we have at Texas Tech.
Be curious to see what the future holds, because it's going to be different. We just don't know how.
Hopefully,
and we may not even notice the difference.
Yeah, maybe if we hadn't said anything.
Just
everything, no one would have known.
Well, it is.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Unless they read.
You wouldn't have known, would you?
What's that?
Yeah, because we talked to Kurt.
Yeah.
Pretty regular.
Yeah.
But you made literally.
But it's definitely a great time to be a Red Raider. It really is.
Is it amazing, our brand, Tom?
It is. It's unbelievable, and people recognize it now. And I've got my keychains. I wear the golf shirts, and the course I play out in Brentwood, and people go in, and the girl behind the counter says, "You went to Tech?" So my dad went to Tech. It's a conversation starter. So people know who we are. They're recognizing it. But it's been a lot of fun. And Dad used to always say, our best days are ahead of us. And that was one of Dan's favorite lines. I truly believe that. I think we got some fun time in the years to come, what we're doing and the direction we're going with things. So it's been fun to watch.
So you're coming back for which game?
I'm not sure this year. We're actually, probably
Oregon State. We played them third game.
It wasn't that one. No, it was into October, somewhere in October.
We got the Hall of Fame at the end of October. Don't we, Gary? Isn't that right?
Yeah.
October 28th,
something,
whatever it is.
Yeah, so my coworker, my partner at my office, who sits 10 feet away from me, is an Arizona State grad. So he came with me last year out here, And he was all out of sorts when he left here because we handled him pretty good. And then so that game's in Arizona this year, and he's trying to get me to go out there, and that ought to be a pretty good game. By that time, if we handle Oregon, we'll be 4-0 going out there, and it's just Oregon State of Maine.
They're picked by most people to win
the conference. Yeah. And so we'll just kind of see how that falls.
Tom is Gary, just so you know, Tom is number 5 in the nation in what he does with Medicare. And
wow!
There's 7 people involved.
And we've said this on our show.
Yeah.
If you think you know Medicare, you don't.
You don't.
You need help.
You need a Tom.
Yeah.
He talks to Laurie Kasler, who's advertised on our show for a long time, and I think they even talk about maybe some different customers or clients or whatever.
Gone through some other things with it. It's an ever changing market, and
and there's there's a whole bunch of people in Medicare across the country, and to be number 5 with Health Matters, that's really good.
Yeah.
You win in trips, aren't you?
Yeah, we're getting to go a bunch of funny places.
You've been listening to the Sports Talk with Thetford and Ashby podcast from Double T 97.3. Catch the show live Saturday mornings from 9 to noon on Double T 97.3 FM or on the Double T 97.3 mobile app.